Welcome back, everyone. We have Jon and Liran from Yéyo Tequila with us today. Thank you guys for joining in.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
We have a new setup here today. This is no more couch. The complaints about the socks. We were sick of hearing it.
People just cry over anything, man.
Listen, when you succumb to people who make fun of you and you give in, I don't know, man.
That's my oneness with the universe.
Exactly. So how's it going over there? You guys in California, right?
LA, yes, sir.
Yep.
How's LA doing?
It's hot today.
Yeah, it was like 90.
Define hot.
It was 117 at my house.
It was 91. It was 91 here. So yeah.
Oh shit, that is LA hot.
That is hot for LA.
Yeah.
But
that
we
is
have
LA
tequila.
hot.
Yeah. And air conditioning.
Yeah.
I've been talking to everybody I know from LA. Actually, I went to the Olympics this year in Paris.
Nice.
And I'm coming back, and I know you guys are getting it in 4 years. And the thing that threw me off when I got to Paris, I've been there before. One, they did a good job because they've got a pretty good train system and all that stuff. But I did not see one homeless person in 2 weeks of Paris. Yeah. Is that something you guys can pull off in LA?
It depends on the day. You might get
no, for the whole Olympics, 3 weeks. Is that something you can pull off for 3 weeks in LA?
I do notice that some areas where there was homeless, it's going away, and it probably has to do with the Olympics coming.
Okay. Is Xi Jinping going to be at the Olympics? Because then they're going to get rid of the homeless, like they did in San Francisco.
That's right. That's right.
Jon, you were here in Vegas a couple weeks ago. We had an event over at Mysterio, and we sampled the new Reposado and some of the cool stuff you're doing. But Matt and I don't know if you did it, Jay, but Matt and we bought into the crowdsourcing thing for Yéyo. And every time I go into a liquor store and people are, staring at the wall of tequila with a confused look on their face, Yéyo is usually in the top 3, if not always the top 5 of, hey, sip, mix, citrusy. We love it. I've been there. I've seen it happen. I tell them about Marco Vivanco and the distillery and the classical music and the fermentation room.
Yes, you do.
So tell us about the Yéyo journey. When did you guys first start doing this? When did you get into the tequila world?
Yeah, so it was about over a decade ago is when I first met the Vivanco family and Sergio Cruz. And this was back when we did not have the iPhone. It was the flip phone was the thing. That is what I had. And we had paper maps and MapQuest. So
much better time.
Yeah,
much better time.
Yeah, much different time. This was when you run the cell phone. It was like $1 a minute to talk to anyone. So so I have a long kind of background with that family, and it wasn't like we just kind of hopped on the tequila train. Back then, there wasn't as many brands, obviously, as there is today, and loved tequila and felt that there was opportunities to create a better tequila, and that was really the mission of going down to Mexico was going to find distilleries that really don't have any presence in the U.S. and partnering up with them and making a better tequila for the U.S. So that was what the mission is, and I feel like we've accomplished that. Then, from then to now, there's obviously thousands of more brands that have launched with other distilleries kind of doing kind of the masses with when it comes to making tequila. But we definitely don't cut any corners. Everything we do is really kind of slow pace, make sure we get everything right before we release it. So that is something that kind of separates us. We usually carve our own path, and others kind of follow. An example would be like the rum cast you guys have for Las Vegas Tequila Club. So same thing.
Yeah. So it seems to me that there is a.
One sec, guys. Let me turn off the speaker over here.
Okay.
I thought you were about to get jumped.
I thought someone was robbing.
Think time.
I thought someone was robbing the place.
It was the voice of Sergio Cruz. He was trying to join in.
First of all, and I want you two to know full well that if something happened and you guys got shanked on film, we would release this shit tonight for the
I would
clicks.
expect that. Make sure the Yéyo name is out there.
Yes.
We'd have the Netflix True Crime docuseries
Oh, yeah.
running.
Tonight.
As long as the Yéyo name lives on, we'll be okay with that.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
So
Well,
speaking of the Yéyo name, how did you come up with Yéyo?
Yes, great question. So, Sergio Vilanco, fourth generation of the Vilanco family, and Sergio Cruz, they've always had the nickname Cheyo. So, like, it's like Yéyo with J's instead of Y's. And that's the nickname for Sergio in Mexico.
very, very common nickname
yeah.
in Mexico.
Yep.
For Sergio is Yéyo.
So, they've always been called this, J-O, J-O, J-O. So we thought it would be proper to, name the tequila after Sergio Cruz, and then it didn't hurt that Sergio Vilanco obviously has, the same name as Sergio. And it means a couple other things too. So it means like you could say your car is very Yéyo, car is very cool. I actually have friends in Mexico, their name is Yéyo, spelled exactly the same way we have Yéyo in the bottle. So there's that, and also means mother as well. So there's many different variations for it, but for us, it is, kind of taking Sergio Cruz as signature on the bottle and, calling it kind of after him, and then, the Vilancos. So
showing love to the original distillery and distillers with Sergio Cruz, Sergio Vivanco, that showed John love from day one.
Yep.
So you guys are telling me that it didn't come from the movie Scarface? Because I have my money on Scarface.
If it would have came to that, we would have had to spell it with an A.
Yes.
It would have been Y-A.
Big difference there.
Y-O.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I do get some side looks when I recommend it. Everyone's like, what's in this tequila? I'm like, trust me, it's all
It would be more
legit.
expensive if it had that in there.
The funny thing is, it's that certain age group that either knows what the old reference is or doesn't.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like anybody under 35, 36 has no idea what that old reference is.
Yes.
Now
That's so true.
It's our age group. They're like, oh, Scarface?
Yeah.
And I get that. We appreciate where it is. Yeah. But
so with that being said, how did you guys land at 1414?
Great story.
Yeah. So my next door neighbor from Mexico City, we both lived in Oregon together, and I told him that I wanted to create a tequila. So we basically flew down to Guadalajara, and we landed there, and we drove to the lowlands first, because naturally that you'd go to tequila, right? Because that's pretty much what I think when you're first starting your journey with tequila, you think of the town of Tequila. And you think all the tequila is made in the town of Tequila, right? Obviously not the case. It's much bigger than that. So we went from Guadalajara and just drove down to Tequila. On the way there and on the way back, any distillery or something that looked like a distillery, we stopped at. Because most of these distilleries, you can obviously tell from the road, it's a distillery. So we went there and went back to Guadalajara. And even the agave I tried in the lowlands, we were going after the agave, cooked agave, and not the tequila. And from there, a lot of the agave I tried, I couldn't even finish a full bite of agave. And at the time, I had never tried cooked agave, never. But I knew if we tried that, it should taste amazing, just like a good fruit. If the fruit's right and it has the right sugar concentration, it should taste delicious, right? A lot of the stuff was overcooked, or it was probably harvested too soon, and the sugar content just wasn't there. So as we made our way back to Guadalajara, again, we were looking even in Guadalajara for distilleries. And then we knew of one contact in the Cazadores distillery before they got acquired. And so we knew we needed to go up to the Highlands to meet this contact. From there, we went and hit distilleries that we saw on the side of the road. The Vilancos was one of them. And it's a very, very small distillery. If you think about the size, you could drive by it in 2 seconds, 3 seconds. We went in, we talked to Jose, Juan Carlos, and he actually said no for us to try the agave. And then I re-pitched it back in the car. We went and pitched it again, and he said yes. So when we tried the agave, cooked agave, it was cold, wasn't warm, it was on the ground. And I was like, this is so good. Even though it was cold, it's probably been sitting there for a few days. It was delicious. It broke apart. The way it stuck to your fingers, the way like you could pull on the fibers, and it just was just delicious. So I knew that the tequila was going to be amazing. I hadn't tried any other tequila, by the way, at that point. So that's when the relationship started. And I went back, I think it was 2 or 3 days over and over again. And we started kind of forming this relationship. We knew I wanted to make tequila there. I had no idea how to do it. I had no glass, no boxes, nothing. I thought it was going to be about $15,000 all in. And I was completely wrong, obviously. But I just knew I wanted to do it. And I was going to do whatever it took to make it happen. And that was a long, long time ago.
So it seems to me there's a watershed moment in the modern tequila world, and it's basically when Clooney sold Casamigos. Were you guys inspired by that, or were you pre-Casamigos, Clooney, all the craziness of the celebrity tequila stuff?
Way before Casamigos.
I was going to say, if you're using flip phones.
Yeah, it was way before a lot of these brands. So there was no Avion. There was no Casamigos. I mean, I'd say like there wasn't that many brands. When we started, I want to say there was less than 1,000 brands total in the whole category. Now I want to say it's 3,000 plus. Yeah. So
and in your search for a distillery, were you on a motorcycle in an agave field, like on the side of the Casamigos?
Of course, man. That's the only way you travel. I didn't have a helmet on. I didn't have any goggles on.
Right.
Yeah, it just happened to just cruise along there and pick that.
And your hair was dapper and beautiful and coiffed.
Yeah,
It seems the gringo way to go is to just get on a motorcycle and tour the agave fields.
Yeah,
I think you actually had the same amount of hair back then.
Probably. my hairline is different.
We like your haircut. Me and Jay like your haircut.
Speaking of that.
We did have a very cheap rental car, but we made it work. So, yeah, honestly, it was the agave is really what drew me to it. And then that's when I met Sergio Cruz. I think it was the following day or the day after, and then Sergio Blanco. And I actually met the Don, which is Sergio Blanco's father. So I got to meet him for a couple of years before he passed away. So he was the guy that really planted the seed. He started growing the agave back in 1929, and then he actually purchased that farm, which then turned into what we have now as the distillery there. So he was really the guy that kind of led the charge behind that for the 4th generation, and then now we're on the 5th generation with the Blanco family.
Yeah, and so you talked about less than 1,000 brands when you started. Now about 3,000. Do you believe that the growth overall is something that can be continued? Is it sustainable? And do you believe that the growth, more importantly, in the additive-free world is sustainable?
I'll answer that, and I'll let Liran answer that too. So I think when we started, the demand wasn't there. Like the category itself wasn't as big as it is today. So I do think in any normal scenario where a category grows and you have more customers, you do need more brands to then fill that demand. To get to the additive free part, with the prices of agave and how much people have been, our farmers have been strategically planning to plant. Now we obviously have the surplus, but there's still you have to think too what happens after you run through the surplus, and then it creates there's too much demand, not enough surplus. So to answer your question, I do think there's room for new brands like Yéyo to succeed. A lot of these other brands, I think, are maybe jumping on for the wrong reasons, where they're jumping on because they want a Clooney buyout and they're trying to do that. Maybe they're not. They're thinking it's really easy
Money
to
grab.
do. Yeah, but it's not that with us. We were one of the first ones to jump in and actually go about this. And my thought process of this whole thing it wasn't about to get rich, because that's not Clooney's. The Casamigos stuff was not out. It was definitely just, I felt like life was short. I want to make tequila. I need to do it. I need to meet and have these experiences in life because it could be over just like that. and it was worth it to me to spend my vacation down there and do this magical thing that a lot of people don't get to do. And I was like, if I can accomplish that, awesome. And whatever comes up on that, then great. So that was why we got into it.
Working with Jon and seeing how his mindset is, it's not about the money. He's truly passionate about the project and about building something that's sustainable, but also giving back to the families there and working with them. And the passion there and, just thinking outside the box, seeing him do the things that he does is pretty special.
That's true. And we tend to see that a lot in the additive free community, that the passion is still there.
Yes.
And I want the passion to stay there, which is why I, against Matt and Ash, don't necessarily want to see the additive free community grow. I like it small. I like it passionate. I like it where people aren't in it for the money. I was in Houston this weekend watching my son play football, and I go to a tequila bar, and normally, tequila bars have all shit, but I go to one, and one has Lalo, and I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I like that surprise, and that's kind of why I always want to know about the growth. And Liran, let's hear your feeling on it.
It's like being a 13-year-old, and you go into the baseball card store, and you're scrolling through 100,000 cards, and you find this like rookie Mickey Mantle,
absolutely,
and you're like, whoa,
yes.
and then
that's how I feel.
Or you're it's just. But I don't know. I've always felt like I just want transparency. It's not even like, I don't care if you put additives in your stuff. I'll drink once in a while. I'll have something, like, okay, I'll make a ranch water with Don Julio.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. It's tequila. It's at the end of the day.
That's fair.
But the bullshit is the problem.
Yeah,
it's the bullshit.
Yeah, quit trying to tell me.
Look, without Casamigos, without Don Julio, without Reserve Jose Cuervo, we wouldn't have great brands like Yéyo around. We wouldn't have great brands like G4 around, because that gave the platform to bring all these great brands around.
And that allowed you guys to say, you know what, this is good, but let's make it better. And that's how we got from the flip phone to the iPhone. Like you talked about earlier. That allowed that shitty flip phone allowed somebody to say, let's make this better.
Yeah. It's like seeing a bunch of basic bitches driving around in Nissan Sentras.
Yes.
And then you see that baddie roll up in like a Hellcat.
There you go.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you're like, that right there.
That's what I want.
Like, there's no pumpkin spice latte in that Hellcat.
Oh, I bet there is. I bet
there might be.
So there's no hate on the big brands.
Yeah.
There's love, and the great thing about the additive free community and the boutique brands, there's a lot of like love and heart, and people want to help each other. I'm close to a lot of these smaller brands, and Jon and I have met with them. We've done tastings, we've done it all, and everybody's there for each other. And the great thing is, the more we work together, the bigger we're able to get.
Right.
Because I might love Lost Lore, I might like Yéyo, I might like G4, but when you're bringing out those people that like all those, they're able to taste each other's, and they're able to see what the differences are.
Well, and it's just like a lot, at least with the movement, like a lot of the people, they're all more community. They're all more small brand like that related. Yeah. And they want to see the smaller brands do well, but they also want to help in other ways that they can. So, it's great to see, brands like Yéyo, like other brands, and, go from there.
Definitely.
And also, maybe you guys can talk about this because you have a lot of experience in it. I'm always talking about the magic of Mexico and the magic of the culture of Hispanic Mexican people. And like, I mean, you like we go to Fortaleza and you go through the distillery and you see what they're doing there. And if those folks weren't making $2 an hour, tequila would be it would be Remy Martin cognac, $10,000 bottle. It's like what they do, but the love, the passion for life, the passion for like pulling into town tequila on a Sunday night, and the kids are on the motorcycles and the Can-Ams and the people and the music's playing and there's dust in the air and no one's wearing a helmet, and the cops just like waving the traffic through. Like, talk about the magic of Mexico and how it plays into your process of making tequila.
I've traveled around the world. I've been to all over Europe, Asia for my business and stuff like that. And whenever you go down to Arandas or Tequila, you feel like something you've never felt anywhere else in the world. It's special. Everybody treats you like family. Everybody is one. It honestly feels like one big happy family. And there's the good and the bad and the ugly in between. But the majority of it is a beautiful, beautiful place and a beautiful thing. And I think that's why it's so easy to come up with good tequila and come up with something like that. Because when you're drinking tequila in Mexico, you're breaking bread together. You're sitting at Jaime's having carnitas and drinking good tequila. So it kind of goes hand in hand in that mindset.
Yeah, we were just there last week, and no, it's magical, and it's hard to explain it. I think it's better to actually go do it than kind of explain it. But no, it's like a whole nother world, and I think what they value is a little different than we do in the States.
Definitely.
I think work is not the primary thing. It's more about family, and that's something I think sometimes we forget in the States. We always work, and they I think take a step back and make sure that they're spending time with friends and family, and that's one of the main priorities instead of working all the time.
And when you talk about growth, guys, you talk about that experience that you have there. I equate that to this summer, as I said, as I was traveling. You get to some of the places in Rome or Greece or any of those places where you get that experience and that feel. I'm not anti-growth, but I don't want the day to come where we fly down there and it's long lines and it's like an amusement park because so many people are listening to us and trying to get that experience. I want to keep it small, manageable, as far as that feeling.
The corporatization of tequila.
That's what I don't want.
I don't think the Mexican people will allow that to happen. To be honest with you, I don't think they want that. They're not. There's that American greed or the corporate greed doesn't really exist there.
Americans seem to be chasing the dollar, and Mexicans seem to be chasing life.
Exactly,
and their ancestors. They're living more for their ancestors.
100%.
As
Guillermo from Fortaleza is a great example. Fortaleza is a brand that could go one of two ways, and they've turned it into a family brand. They take care of the dogs on the property. They want to give back to the community. He doesn't need that kind of headache. He just does it because he loves it.
Right.
Same thing with the Blancos.
And the Blancos are the same.
Yeah.
It's that's in their core. It's in their hearts, and it's just a beautiful thing to be around.
I think if it were to happen, it would already happen by now. There could be big development going on and stuff, but it's not going to happen.
We are, like you said, a decade into the tequila growth, a little less than a decade maybe, but we're even a shorter period than that into the additive-free growth. So we don't know yet if it's going to blow up, but we do know at this point, you're right, it's not in that money grab area. Because at some point, somebody's going to say, hey, look, I can make a lot of money in this particular small area. And they're going to do it. And they're going to get into it for the money in a small area. I mean, that's America. And that's the way that, our corporations think. There'll be an off brand of Cuervo that'll slip into the real additive free just because they want to shore up the market. And before you know it, it's gone corporate.
Well, you're seeing some of these celebrity brands now try to go into that market.
Yes.
And trying to get the additive free marks. Just because it's additive free doesn't mean it's going to be good tequila.
Yes.
When it's made mass produced and it's not made from the heart like that, doesn't mean you're going to have a good product come out at the end of the day. Even
But the wolves are already chomping around the neighborhood
100%.
trying to get into that additive free. They're already trying to cut corners by marketing it additive free when it's really not. They're trying to cut corners of that. Pretty soon, someone's going to actually say, you know what? Let's just do it.
100%. agave, no additives. That doesn't mean it's
exactly.
the same thing.
They're already
That
trying to
doesn't
come
mean
up
the
with
same
clever
thing.
ways.
Yeah, and organic, and this, and that.
Yeah.
We could add a bunch of labels on the tequila, but doesn't mean it's going to be a good tequila. Doesn't mean it comes from where it needs to come from.
But it does mean that the average person might not know the difference, and that's
But
what
you know what the
worries.
average. When I first got into tequila, I thought the best tequila. I remember on one of the Facebook pages when I got into tequila, my first post was, "What's better, 1942 or Avion 44?" Because I didn't know any better. And then once I started learning, and today's people know much better than they
That's
did
true.
10, 15 years ago. I'm telling you, I have a personal tequila collection of about 3,000 bottles.
Well, that's a problem.
When are we getting
You
invited
should see a
over?
counselor, and you should.
Anytime. I need a counselor for more than
You
just
need
my
a financial advisor. You need a counselor. There's a lot of things wrong with that.
I'll ride to LA on my Harley
Still
tomorrow.
has issues, guys, so he's still buying more.
That's the easy part. That's the easy part. But other issues are the problem. But before getting into it and understanding it, I thought 1942 was the best of the best. Now you have actual information. You have Grover. You have Matchmaker. You have the Tactical Tequila podcast. You're learning. There's more information out there today than there was ever.
Matt and I thought Terramana was the best, so we're not always smart.
Okay.
No, we have to make mistakes.
When you start your tequila journey, you started on something because you're not educated in
That's
the
fair.
realm.
That's fair.
Also, what's available.
Like any tequila, drink what you like, but at the same time, like if you can drink good stuff that's well made and the heart and soul goes into it, then of course, drink that. But
Drink what you like as long as you know what you're actually drinking.
exactly.
You enjoy the vanilla extract and you want to have that fake synthetic sugar and you like that, all power to you, no problem.
Yeah, that's my thing. Just know what you're drinking.
Exactly. And if you want a good additive-free tequila that's actually made the right way and brought to you the right way and all the good stuff, we got this, the Yéyo High Proof right here is coming out to market.
Oh yeah!
So,
boy!
So we got some good stuff on the way.
So excited with the high proof.
Since you introduced that segues us into the next question. Tell us a little bit about the high proof.
Yes, so we're actually bottling this on Thursday. So this has been a project we've been working on since April 30th of last year.
Over a year.
Yeah, over a year.
Over a year and a half.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. So I know there's been a lot of new high proofs coming out, but this isn't something we jumped on the wagon with other brands. This is something we've been thinking about for a long time. We definitely weren't in a rush. We wanted to experiment just like we do with all of our experiments. We take our time to do an R&D process. We kind of carve our own path. We're not using anything from the distillery. We bring in all of our own equipment, our own barrels. We don't source anything from Mexico just because we have more variety of getting things from other countries. We started our path back then, and we went really, really heavy on fibers. And then we decided to go no fibers, and then we decided to go with the little fibers.
Finding that right balance and the percentages, it went from 45 to 50 and trying to figure out which one was, the perfect Goldilocks method, what I like to
So
call.
what was the difference in taste between heavy on fibers, no fibers, and little fibers? What was the difference, and why did you settle on what you settled on? And also, before you go there, if you had spent less time getting your own collection together, more time dealing with this, we would have had this shit 6 months ago. But thanks.
What I learned on the way there, that's the question.
So part of this is that we wanted to make sure that the DNA was still there with Yéyo. And when you use a lot of, and again, I've never experimented with agave fibers up until last year. It felt like it was too far away from the core Yéyo, and it was just too much mint. It was like really, really minty. And I felt like it lost a lot of its kind of soul. So we backed off a lot of it, and we actually went to no fibers. Like, what's going to be like if we just make a high proof without it? And when we were coming up with the right proof content, was we wanted to have it not too low but not too high. We want to bring in beginners, but we also don't want to move away people that are experts in understanding layers and complex tequilas. So we felt like the 96 proof was the perfect balance of not going too high or too low. It captured the right aromas and the right taste profiles, and with the amount of cooked agave or fermented fibers that we used, it was like a perfect balance where it wasn't too much minty, and you could still taste the Yéyo profile, and it had all the complexity that you don't get in the 80 proof, and it kind of comes through with the 96 proof. So that's kind of how we landed on. We have like a 3 to 5% ratio of fermented agave fibers, and the rest of it is just at 96. So it ended up being like the perfect blend, but it took a while to get there.
So okay, go a little deeper in that. How long does it take you with heavy on the fibers to go through the whole process to get it down to realize, nah, this is too much? How long does that take for you to decide, let's tone it down a little bit?
It's a few months in between to make something, and then basically drink it and decide like this is not right.
There's the resting period,
Yeah.
and then there's the cooking period and all those things. So you got to go through a few batches till you figure out what the right batch is for you.
Yeah. But imagine if we were just to say, we could have just called up and said, Sergio, make us tequila, which is what a lot of distilleries do in general. They don't even go down there. But that's why we're super involved with all the technical parts of it. And that's why we took time to get it out. So we wanted to make sure that when we release it, it's something that we've all love, and we make sure that we're 100% behind it based on those cooking methods.
Yeah.
One of the things I love the most about Yéyo is your guys' box. And when you open up the box and you cut it open, there's a map of Arandis.
Yep.
When I first bought this tequila and I look in there and I thought, oh, maybe that's just down the street from the town of Tequila. When we go, we'll stop by Arandis and we'll stop by, no, 3 hours down the road. But where did this inspiration for the map, where did that come from? Because we always talk about the journey. And I think you kind of hit on it, Jon, when you said, like, I want to make a tequila because the clock's ticking. We're all ticking down to zero. And this journey and
Jesus,
the map.
Ash.
I'm getting a little philosophical here.
All right,
but
man.
we talk about the map. I love the idea of this, like, you have a map on every box of Yéyo. It's just, to me, I thought it was such a genius. That's not marketing, that's passion. Talk about that.
So it really came down to, there's guerrilla marketing tactics, but the main thing is like a two-way conversation with customers or consumers, and this allows a two-way relationship to happen because we're giving them something to go look at. Hey, this is where Yéyo was made, Arandis Jalisco, details around it. We're also calling out influencers on it, and we're doing all this within the inside the box. And at the same time, we have these burials that we do each year, and it was just something fun and interactive. But the main thing with the box is usually there's nothing inside of it, or there's like the logo a bunch of times, but there's nothing interactive. But the QR code inside that, the fact that you're seeing the distillery, our favorite restaurants, influencers that push the brand across Canada and the U.S. I think these are all kind of things that are kind of unique to us. But that map, we're at like 118 versions, I think, right now. So it definitely started with just an idea, some drawings. And also, by the way, all the Vivanco's agave fields are all listed in that too. Anytime you see an agave, that's an agave field that they own. So wow. It took a lot of thought to go, and even the elevations in there, there's a bunch of details that went into that box. But we thought it would be, a great idea to have for, customers to have. So
can you tell us a little bit about the time capsules that you bury?
Yes. So every single year, we actually bury a one-of-one bottle, and we put it in the ground. And just actually like an hour ago, I was just brought to my attention and Liran's attention that the first one we buried was just found.
I saw that.
The second one was found. And then the third one, the one for 2024, is still not found. And this is actually what the first year's looks like. It was hit with a shovel. And
flooded with water.
Yeah, flooded with water.
And the bottle survived.
The bottle survived, and we actually just tried it, and it was freaking delicious. It was a 20-year-old Diva Extra Añejo with which is extremely hard to get, by the way. I'm like, I don't even know if that's something you can get right now. It was 10% of that, and then 90% Yéyo Blanco, and so we did that on December 17th of 2021, and it's now been recovered.
And
Wow.
Pepe
Now,
from the
did somebody just come across it, or did you set out to recover it?
No, Pepe from LA Tequila Club said it took him 3 or 4 trips down there.
3 tries, guys.
Yeah.
3 tries,
And he finally found it.
Yeah.
So it's a treasure map.
It's like geocaching, but for tequila.
Yeah.
Yes.
So more or less, he's like one of those guys walking on the beach with the little
metal
little finder. Yeah.
So
Or the
this
bottle,
is the
yeah.
map,
Yeah.
and the bottle is the bottle is located on the map, so you have to go to where.
Interesting.
Very, very smart.
The key to him finding the bottle was drinking enough tequila to find it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
every time he drank, he didn't drink enough.
Yeah.
And then on the third time, he's like, I'm just going all out.
And if you look to the right hand side of that map, it actually has a tree with boulders to the far right down, right above the QR code.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it. Yep.
Yeah, so that actually says a treasure in Spanish. It says like a treasure awaits.
So it wasn't even hidden that much.
I was hidden.
It's a treasure map.
Yeah, no,
it's on the spot.
But to
I
find
think-
this little thing in the ground.
Ash, you're in charge of finding the next one. It's not that hard to find. Hey,
Deal.
we're putting you.
I
I'll
will
buy you
tear
a
this
flight
bitch apart.
to go find the bottle.
Just make sure when you go there, you need to bring either a 2-liter of Coke or a bottle or 2 liter of water, because the ground is so hard there.
Yeah.
It isn't going to come up easy.
No, it's easy. It's easy. He can do it.
It's easy.
I believe in him.
I actually snapped a shovel on the last
I'm
burial.
gonna bring the
Snap
Coke to
the
make a
shovel
patango
on
when
the
I
dirt.
find it. That's what my Coke is going to be for.
I give it 5 minutes into the walk, and he's gonna be like, "No, fuck this shit." He's gonna be like, "I'm done."
This is
Whatever.
100%.
This one we did for this year. I think I got poked. Oh shit! I mean, at least a dozen times. So my leg has, at that time it got poked.
He's
many
got the
times.
war wounds.
Yeah, I got the
to
war
prove
wounds.
it.
So
Well, now
we
I
have to
gotta
do it at nighttime.
I gotta open a box up, and then I'm gonna have to track everyone down between all you guys, Sergio, and at the distillery. And I need, like, in the silver marker, I need autographs, and so I'm gonna frame this treasure map, and I'm gonna hang it on my wall in my house.
Consider it done.
Yeah.
We'll send you a bottle of the new high proof, so you can go find it.
There you go.
All right,
And
Deal.
then you'll be good to go.
So when will that hit Vegas? When will the high proof hit Vegas? That's all I really care about.
It should be hitting end of this month, beginning of October at the latest.
Yep.
But it's going to hit the States, in a couple weeks?
Yeah, we're going to finish bottling, and we're picking up on September 12th.
September 12th.
And
So
where in Vegas will I be able to find it? Don't say liquor lineup. I swear to God, I'll turn the
It'll
table.
be at the cask probably.
You'll be at the cast?
Cask
Okay.
liquor line.
I swear to God, Matt, I will flip this table.
Jay doesn't like to drive more than 20 minutes.
So we're also going to be available online. Yéyo's launching an online store, which we're going to be
good.
till, I think, 44 states. So
Nevada one.
not only you'll be able to get it in stores in Vegas, but you'll also be able to get it online when it comes, if there's an issue finding it in Vegas and other places as well.
And so, with ordering it, you guys also have this weekend. You're doing the release in LA.
Yeah, so it's actually next weekend, the 14th. We're doing a release in LA for the high proof. We're doing it through sipsy.com. So anybody who orders a bottle from Sipsy pre-orders, they get access to the party, which will be, we have bartenders, we have DJ, we have taco truck, we got the works. It's going to be a really great event, so we're really excited to get that going. So anybody who orders a bottle through sipsy.com gets access to the event.
Yeah, and free parking, which is hard to come by in LA.
In LA, definitely.
Yeah.
It's worth it for the parking.
Right.
When is the event?
14th.
September 14th from noon till 2. But in my opinion, it's going to last longer till 2 than 2.
I heard it was going to go longer.
Where is it
It's
in LA?
definitely going to go
I'm
longer.
pretty sure it'll go longer.
Sorry?
Where is it in LA?
In
Where?
Culver City.
Culver City. Got it.
Yep. It'll be a great event and a lot of great people coming down for it.
Yeah, we'll make sure that Matt gets some advertising for it. That sounds awesome.
We appreciate that.
And so, what would you say, like, the hardest part or the most obstacles that you've encountered starting a brand from ground up, what would you say the hardest part of it has been?
Yeah, so I would say the easier parts is obviously it's amazing making tequila, but all the logistics and things that go into actually getting state approval,
The business part.
yeah, distributors.
The business part is not
Yeah,
easy.
the business part. So I would say anyone who does this, you have to be relentless. You have to love to do it, because it is definitely not easy. So you have to either be extremely passionate about it, because that's the only thing that's going to kind of keep you going to do it. But if you have that part, you should be able to make it. But if you don't have that part, it's probably not for you. But it is very difficult from the moment that it's harvest to the day that it's bottled to then when it gets back in the U.S. to having a plan to get it into market, the right price point. There's so many variables that go into it, creating, customers base, and there's a lot that goes into it. And it doesn't happen in a month or 10 months or a year. It takes time, but it's one customer at a time, one bottle at a time, one case, one pallet, and then
the creativity that goes behind it too. I got to give Jon my hats off, because the stuff that he has been coming up with. We have also next month coming out the Day of the Dead Hoven edition.
Can't wait.
And it's really special. Jon did it's funny, you made a joke about the spiced pumpkin coffee.
Yeah.
And he brought me this barrels. It was spiced apple cider barrels. I was like, Jon, this is going to be a spiced pumpkin latte. I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
And he brought me that bottle to try, and I was blown away by it. This Hoven that Jon and Sergio came up with is so special at a higher proof. It's 43%. This stuff is absolutely delicious. So there's a Day of the Dead edition coming out, the Soul edition and the Luna edition. The Soul edition is the spiced apple cider barrels blended with the Blanco at a higher proof. The stuff is absolutely delicious. And the Luna edition is wine brandy. Peach wine brandy, right?
It started off as a bourbon barrel, then it went to a peach wine barrel.
Peach wine barrel, sorry.
And then we put Yéyo in it. So they both have 65% Reposado each,
Yep.
and then 35% Blanco, and it's at an 86 proof for both of them. And they're still aging, by the way. We want to make sure we have every single last second aged in that barrel we can.
And you talked about the map inside. This box has the map, but also this absolutely stunning design where when you put them together, it turns into a full set. You can build it out.
Yep.
Sorry, and so when we spoke in Las Vegas, you mentioned that the boxes, the exterior of the boxes, all connect and they all have a mural, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, like, if you look here,
if we had 6 boxes, we could,
the sun and the moon connect here, and on the sides.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So-
okay.
But also, like, you see the sides, there's the woman in the front, and it connects.
Yeah.
But they're just it beyond the fancy cool box. That's awesome. But the juice inside it was so special and so different than anything else that I've had personally, that I was blown away by it when they came up with it.
So between the boxes and the burials, it's like you guys are a Nick Cage National Treasure movie for tequila lovers. You're just putting all this shit together and the maps and all this stuff. I like
That's
it.
the great thing that Jon brings to the table. Besides having his passion for tequila, his creativity is absolutely amazing. And coming up with these, like, we have experimental barrels going right now. There's some crazy shit going on in there.
Yeah,
we have anything from port barrels, sherry, cognac, but also Jon's like, let's try a sea salt barrel. Stuff that nobody else is doing, we're bringing to the table.
Just to see what happens.
Did you say pork?
Port.
Oh, port. I said pork. I was like, you are out of your mind.
Listen, I've had some mezcals made with the venison and stuff like that. I tried it all.
Exactly.
But this is like, doing those blends, and you do, even if it comes out to being a blend with an apple cider barrel and a sea salt barrel and get that caramel sea salt thing. It's interesting. It's different, and that's the one thing that for me Yéyo really brings to the table.
When will the Dia de Muertos Hovens be available?
It's getting bottled in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we'll be these will be in market. They'll be in Texas on the last day of September, and we plan on shipping out. I think October 1 ends up on a Sunday, so I think it's October 2nd.
Within the first week of October,
it'll already be shipping out. So we've already allocated. We're only doing 700 cases of each, and they've already been allocated across the U.S. and into Canada. So they already have homes, all 700 of each cases on both Sol and Luna. They're already going out to the markets immediately. But I would say it's one of those things where you need to buy both. You couldn't buy just one.
I'm buying all of it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. You can
allocate a case for me.
Yeah. And also too the brand new map is in there, and it actually has the most current burial. It has all the new information that's up in this barrel or in the box. So it's all been updated.
Awesome.
Yeah. How about the box with the map to Liran's stash so we can get the good shit?
So that's tougher to get into Fort Knox.
I will have to DM you the code.
I smell the challenge.
Yeah, challenge accepted.
Anytime you're in LA, please come by. I'd love to pour you some good stuff.
Yeah, he's open to sharing any type of bottle with you guys. It doesn't matter what the bottle is worth or how rare it is.
I hide the good stuff though.
Likewise, whenever you guys are in Vegas, let us know.
When's the next time you guys might see yourself up here? What's that about?
You don't have to twist our arm to come to Vegas.
Look, it's a really quick flight.
Yeah.
Ron and I both want to come up to or go to Vegas. Way more than we do now.
Yeah.
So we definitely have plans.
With the high proof, once we have that all figured out there, we have distribution properly and really come out there and hit it hard. Be great.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So
we would love to do a release party with you guys for sure.
Absolutely. We'd love to do that with you guys.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Great, guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. Much appreciated.
Ladies and gentlemen, go buy yourself a bottle of Yéyo.
Yes.
You will not be disappointed. I
won a bottle. I bought a bottle.
Yes.
At the release here in Vegas. I opened it and I finished the one that I won.
I have like 6 or 7 bottles here.
Yeah.
Well,
man.
and really on top of that, from the crowdfunding, but most of which are the traditional that I have left. The tropical, unfortunately, has been killed.
Yep.
And I tell you what, the tropical was amazing.
Good. It was good.
Really good.
A lot of the feedback we're getting, people love both, but the tropical, I think people lean a little bit more towards.
Yeah.
It's got that more robust rum flavor to it.
Yeah.
Very unique.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
Thank you so much for everything.
You guys got your glasses?
Salute.
Thank you.
Where can everyone find you on social media? Can you guys shout out all your social media?
At Yéyo Tequila. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok.
Even Twitter.
Yéyo Tequila.
All right.
You can't.
All right, everyone. Yéyo Tequila. It is quality stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks
guys.
so much.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you guys so much.
Talk to you soon.
Cheers.